Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Welcome to Wrestle With.
Bruce Prichard. Well, you know.
Now, there's a rumor that he nearly swallowed his tongue and nearly died and is sent back to rehab for an addiction to painkillers, morphine, sleeping pills, muscle relaxants. He's just in a bad way here. What can you tell us? What happened to him after February? We don't see him again till May.
Well, this was a really sad time. And this, you know, I'd mentioned earlier that Davey was one of the guys that had brought Brian to our attention, Brian Pillman, that maybe he had fallen off the wagon. And Bulldog during this time was going through a really rough patch and had a hell of a dependency on pills and whatever the hell else he was on. And he showed up in Nashville, not in a good way, and obviously on something. And we had to, myself and Jim Ross had to take Davey Boy down and sit him in the locker room. And it's tough when someone is in that state to have a conversation with them, because when you're in that state, and I've been there, so I ain't throwing stones, you don't see it. You know, you're like, no, I'm fine. What the hell are you talking about? And you're slurring your words and drooling and everything else. And Davey was not in a good way. And we told him right then that he needed to go to rehab. And when he got out of rehab, there would be a job for him. But if he didn't go to rehab, he didn't have a job. So he said, okay, I'll go to rehab after the tour. I said, no, you got to go tonight. You got to go right now. And we had someone take him to the airport right there and sent him to Tampa, and had Dan Spivey meet him at the airport. I believe it was Dan, meet him at the airport and take him to rehab that night. But he was in a bad way. And it was tough to watch, and it was tough to have that conversation with him, because, he was really upset, and he didn't want to have to tell his family and everything, but that's what happened.
Okay. Let's talk about, his return May 6th in London. It's Insurrection. It's overseas. He beats Crash Holly to win the hardcore title. So he's brought back from, $75,000 rehab allegedly in Atlanta that Vince pays for, and he's winning the hardcore title in England. I mean, that's got to be his highest and best use. You can't ask for a much better return than that, can you?
Yeah, I mean, it was in his home country, and let's try and do something. So, it was an attempt, and wanted to see what the hell we had.
Crash would win the title back at the May 9th tapings. And then this is what he's doing. Bulldog beat Joey Abs on Heat on the 16th. On the 22nd, on Jacked, he beat Midian. He's back on Heat a week later when he goes to a double DQ with Eddie Guerrero. And the last match in the WWF is in Calgary, May 27th. He beat Steve Blackman on a house show. He wouldn't wrestle again until May 10th, 2002. He teamed with his son Harry here. And his last match ever would be the very next day on May 11th. He teamed with his son Harry and Zach Mercury to beat Robbie Royce, the Axe, and JT Bratt. Let's go back though. What do you think? May 27th, 2000. He's out of here. What happened that led to him ultimately leaving the company?
I think that basically Davey had a hard time on the road and wasn't able to really cope on the road. And everybody felt that he needed to get some time away from the business, and he needed to get his head straight, get his body straight. And the door was open. I mean, the door was open for him to come back, but he needed to be the old Bulldog. He wasn't happy, and everybody knew it. So it wasn't working after the rehab stint. It was a mutual deal. I mean, everybody came to terms. and he left the company. But the idea was for him to kind of leave and get his stuff together, and that door was open if he wanted to come back, and he was in the right frame of mind.
Let's talk about the end, man. This sucks. A week after he has that match with his son on May 11th, he passes away on May 18th. He suffers a heart attack in British Columbia, and an autopsy would reveal that anabolic steroids may have played a role in his death, but no reason was given. What was your reaction when you heard about his passing?
Absolute sadness, because you try and keep tabs on people and just to see how they're doing and everything. One of the things that we were definitely keeping tabs on was Harry, his son, just to see how the hell he's doing, and hoping that maybe with Harry entering the business, that would be motivation for Davey to get on track and come back. And we had heard reports from our end that Davey was doing well, and that he was looking great, and he was working out with his son and doing all of these things in a positive light. And then you hear the news that all of a sudden he's gone. And it's just sad, because all the things go through your mind. It's like, was it drugs? Was it this? Was it that? And anytime that somebody leaves way too soon like that, you got to think of their family, and he's got beautiful children. And it just sucked. It just sucked because it was just way too soon. Davey is God, only a couple months older than I am. And so you always put that in perspective when you look at it and go, man, the guy's my age. And he was just gone too soon. And it was tragic because, again, we all were hoping that maybe Harry being in the business and Davey having the opportunity to maybe go tour with his son and be the one to teach his son the business out on the road every night, that could be the thing that brings him back into the business in a positive light. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. And, Harry is one of those guys that, he went through the WWE developmental, but for whatever reason, that didn't work out, and he did the New Heart Foundation thing with Tyson Kidd. But good God, I've seen him on several independents. Holy shit. I don't get what's holding him back, because he's a big, good looking bastard and can go in the ring. So that's kind of a conundrum. I don't know what the holdup there is on him.
Do you think that, the British Bulldog should have already been in the Hall of Fame? Or do you think they're going to wait? And I've got a theory that's not popular, but I don't believe that Vince wants to see a wheelchair on the stage. And I think he'll wait until Tom Billington passes away, and then he'll put the Bulldogs in together. Your thoughts?
I don't think that. I think that Davey will go in as a single, and I think that he deserves to go in as a single. I think that his career was so much more than that tag team, and I think that the majority of the people remember him as the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
You don't think Dynamite Kid will go in?
No, I don't.
Wow. How about that? Well, send your hate tweets to @Bruce Prichard.